Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. You may have heard of Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Bonhoeffer was one of the preeminent theologians of the 20th century, and although he had escaped Germany before World War II, he went back saying that if he didn't share in the sufferings of his people, he had no right to share in their rebuilding after the war was over. Eventually, Bonhoeffer took a small part in a plot to assassinate Hitler, and he was arrested. One day in prison, Bonhoeffer heard weeping from the cell next to his. He called out to the other prisoner to trust in God. The prisoner replied that he didn't believe in God. Nevertheless, Bonhoeffer invited him to join him in prayer. Here is what Bonhoeffer prayed. Lord, it's dark in me. In you is day. I am alone, but you will stay. I am afraid. You never cease. I am at war. In you is peace. The prisoner was executed the next day, and Bonhoeffer himself was executed at Hitler's express order as the war ended. But did you pay attention to the prayer and to the circumstances of it? If ever there was a time for anxiety, that was it. This week we're looking at our age of anxiety and how often the Bible seems to speak to this topic. We have our concerns, but most of us don't face such life and death issues as they faced in that German prison. But Bonhoeffer's prayer points beyond our worries, beyond our fears. Oh, our worries and fears may be real, but Bonhoeffer points to an even greater truth, to an even greater reality. God is, and we can trust in God. That's what the author of Hebrews was saying too. In chapter 13, after saying that faith is the evidence of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen, the author goes on to say, so we can confidently say, the Lord is my helper, I will not fear. What can man do to me? Yes, people can make our lives difficult and even end our lives. But in God there is life still. There is life more. Our second scripture for today is another call to trust in God. In Isaiah 41 we find, fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. What comfort we find in this verse to know that God will strengthen us, help us, and uphold us. It's a verse that encourages us in our difficulties. And God's right hand is the hand of power. And what this verse assures us of is that God has the power to defend us and uphold us. I am your God, God says. With God, there is no room for fear. There is no room for dismay. We belong to God. I remember one of my dad's favorite jokes that I often heard as I grew up. In case you don't know this, my father was a pastor, and sometimes he'd be talking with someone else about their various jobs, and my father would say, I'm not an insurance salesman, I'm an assurance salesman. That assurance from God is just what we need. That assurance from God is just what we have. Lord, it's dark in me. In you it is day. I am alone, but you will stay. I am afraid. You never cease. I am at war. In you is peace. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.